What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that you've been enjoying the 2022 NFL Draft. The Dallas Cowboys, of course, spent their first-round pick on Tyler Smith, strengthening their offensive line, their second-round pick on Sam Williams, adding an edge rusher to Dan Quinn's defense, and in the third round, got a new wide receiver for Dak Prescott in South Alabama's Jalen Tolbert. Well, to get Saturday's action started, the Dallas Cowboys stayed on the offensive side of the ball, stayed with skill positions, stayed with a new weapon for Dak Prescott by selecting tight end out of Wisconsin, Jake Ferguson. The Cowboys spent the 129th overall pick on Ferguson, and honestly, this is a fairly solid pick. We can sit here and quarrel about value when it comes to draft picks all day long. You can do that any year, any draft, any round, whatever the case may be. But for the Cowboys, for this year, for where they're at, for their roster, they obviously have Dalton Schultz, who's currently on the franchise tag. They have Sean McEwen and Jeremy Sprinkle behind him, but Jake Ferguson presents a really nice option to be a solid tight end two for them in the near future. He can be helpful in the run game. He's obviously a great blocker coming out of Wisconsin. That's kind of the prototype and archetype that come from those Big Ten schools. Obviously, Jake Ferguson, the latest among them. Is he going to develop into the NFL's next great pass-catching sort of tight end option? Probably not, but that's not what the Cowboys need. And I know that maybe you're thinking, you know what, that's what I wanted. I wanted the Kyle Pitts mold from last year. Obviously, everybody wants Kyle Pitts. I wanted the Trey McBride mold. I wanted the Jelani Woods mold. Remember that this is kind of exactly who the Cowboys drafted 4 years ago in Dalton Schultz. The last time they spent a fourth-round pick on a tight end, he was very similar from an evaluation standpoint coming out of Stanford. It stands to reason that the Cowboys are kind of going back to that well. Does this suggest that, Jake Ferguson's going to be the tight end of the future for the Cowboys if and when Dalton Schultz leaves next year, if they don't tag him again or get a new long-term deal done with him? No, but he has significantly raised the floor of options for the Cowboys from the depth perspective at the tight end position. The Cowboys needed a tight end, and unlike the first three picks that they made in the draft, those were need picks, but they were kind of created needs, right? The Cowboys obviously, got rid of Lyle Collins and saw Connor Williams leaving free agency. That's why they needed an offensive lineman. They got rid of Randy Gregory when that ultimately didn't come to pass. You can obviously debate how that ended up as well, but that's why they needed Sam Williams. They traded away Amari Cooper. They let Cedric Wilson walk in free agency. That's why they needed Jalen Tolbert. This is kind of the first draft, a best player available that fits a need mold that isn't a need that the Cowboys created that makes sense. Honestly, like this pick. If I have to grade this pick individually, we're obviously coming off the great moment that it was for the Cowboys drafting Jalen Tolbert late on Friday night. I was going to say Thursday night. All the days are blending together at this point. I give this pick a B. I think it makes sense. It makes sense for where the Cowboys are right now. It makes sense for where the Cowboys view themselves both now, historically, in terms of recent history, and in the future. They want to be able to run the ball. That's not to say the Cowboys aren't hip to the NFL's current game, that they don't believe in passing or airing the ball out, but they want to be able to run the ball. That's why they drafted Tyler Smith, to reinforce that offensive line. Also for the passing game, they need to be able to run block. They need to be able to pass block. Remember that, part of the reason that Dalton Schultz was able to first get on the field at the beginning when it was he and Blake Jarwin competing for that primary tight end spot before Blake Jarwin got injured was that he was a much better blocker. The Cowboys love these kind of tight ends who they can bring in and work on. They get an established blocker, somebody who already has that level of their game understood. They can work with him as a route runner. They can work with him as a pass catcher. The Cowboys have enough pass catching options. They don't right now need a super big time pass catching threat of a tight end. I like this pick. It makes sense. It's conservative, but conservative in the right way. Sometimes you have to make the conservative decisions in the NFL draft, and I think the Dallas Cowboys did that here. That gives them 4 picks so far. Again, as mentioned, we put these videos together, obviously, all throughout the draft. The Cowboys have now addressed the offensive side of the ball with 3 of their first 4 picks, obviously taking Jake Ferguson at 129 overall. We'll see what the rest of the NFL draft has in store. We have live coverage for you on the Blog and the Boys YouTube channel. If you're coming to this soon, if you're arriving to this later, you can hear our discussions in the past. If you go back in our channel, please make sure to subscribe here to the Blog of the Boys YouTube channel. We have a lot of things that come out all the time. The draft is happening now, but we never stop. We never sleep. We're Dallas Cowboys 24/7, 365, because we love this team just like you, and we want to talk about it with our friends. We're all friends around here, right? Congratulations to Jake Ferguson, the newest member of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see what other positions the Cowboys are able to add throughout the rest of the draft. They have 4 fifth-round picks, so right here, right now, I'm headed back to our live show. But thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Oh, I don't know why I said that. See you next time. I clicked the wrong thing. My name's RJ Ochoa. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at RJ Ochoa. For real, TikTok too, RJ.Ochoa. But thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.